Hello, a day with Caleb. We are back with a pickups video. I think all of this is from eBay. More of like a horror top vibe pickups video. Uh, some not quite horror. Maybe thriller is a better description. Horror, thriller horror. Almost the same, not quite, but we'll start out with the two maybe lesser ones. Now this I do have already, but these, it came in a lot of three, and we'll just quickly show them. A lot of three. The main one we'll show in a minute from this lot, but it was either get the movie separate on its own or get three movies for the same price. So ended up picking up these two. Now Mama I do have already, but I need to check the condition of the disc. And we'll rotate whatever. I think this one is in pretty good shape if I remember. Yeah, pretty, not mint, but mine might be mint because I think I got it from Josh if I'm not mistaken. So that one might be switching out condition, might just trade this in on its own. And then this one, Ouija have, but printed case. Oh man, if I had a time machine, Marty McFly or Doc Brown, they would go back, get an almanac. Biff gets the almanac, becomes a millionaire on sports betting. I would go back and not get loose DVDs. Even though, hindsight, I got a good deal, practically free for most of the loose discs that I receive. So, but I'm having to kind of replenish those movies with actual cases now, and it works out like this one practically free because I got in a lot, so no damage there as far as the printed case. And then some I have like in a binder that are yay or nay. If I find it out in the wild for a good deal, okay. But a lot of those are like loose TV show discs that I'm not the craziest about that particular show. And most don't even have like a complete season. They're just loose discs. But like most of those we got when Blockbuster was closing. So we tried to find like whole seasons of shows, but they were in these little white like inserts, not like the typical like DVD art, like the hard paperback inserts. These were kind of like a, not silky, but kind of like a bubble mailer, that type of texture. Like stuffed in those with the label printed like on a printer. So the same font, the same text for every film. So you just kind of had to let your fingers do the walking. Quote that or name that movie. I might be butchering that line delivery, but so anyway, where was I going? Oh, so a lot of the loose discs we have, practically nothing. Like Blockbuster was closing, basically giving them away. I think the last day it was like they would hand out bags, and like if you could fill up the bag with loose discs, it was like $1, maybe, if that. Like it wasn't much. And then the ones from Redbox, you can justify it because it's like renting but instead of like having to return it, you just keep it for like $1 or $2 more. So anyway, not to tangent on that, but anyway, we're replacing another printed case. We're on that journey of discovery now. Uh, Even though I probably won't replace everyone, because that would get kind of tedious. But like I said, the ones that aren't on my priority to replace are in the binders. So we'll flip through those. I have replaced some. Like if I upgrade something, see that's loose, I'll pull those out. If they're horribly scratched, no need in putting that back out there as movie collectors. You can understand. So, you don't have much into it. So most of the time, if they're horribly scratched, I just throw them away. I know it's hard as movie collectors to do that, but to put that back out there horribly scratched, I can't see doing that. So anyway, a little sidetrack there, but anyway, trying to replace some of the printed cases, not all. We probably won't have that. But another Warner Archive collection, Carney, the young Jodie Foster, and of course, why am I blanking right now? Gary Busey, who is probably banned from conventions from now on. Jake Busey still does conventions, but I don't want to get into all that. And then this guy, what was his name? Robbie Robertson? And an interesting film. When was this made? 1980. Then it got a re-release, a Warner Archive release in '09. So basically, Gary Busey is the clown, and I forget what this guy does. I think he's like a juggler, or like juggles knives and like fire and stuff. And she comes with her friends to kind of check out the carnival, and kind of joins the carnival, and kind of like Gary Busey is like her love interest. It's a weird movie, and kind of ends weird, but very beautiful, very young right here, Jodie Foster. Uh, so that is interesting. If you remember, kind of one of the last archives I got was Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and that was that was a very interesting movie too. Seems like a lot of archive films are like ones that are kind of mired in controversy, or are just weird, or maybe not the most sought after, so they put it on the archive label. I don't know. I mean, there are hidden gems in the Warner archives, but anyway, interesting and neat to have this. And we move on to that third movie, the main one that I wanted to get, Winchester. If you are unfamiliar with the kind of the Winchester story, legacy, I guess, kind of the folklore, how much, not an urban myth or legend, well, it kind of is. Basically, the widow of the gun guy, Winchester, for all the westerns out there, those were Winchester guns. There were others, but we all know Winchester as a gun. But after he died, his widow, if I'm going off of memory, but I think she thought that the house was haunted after he passed. So her way of warding off the evil spirits was to continually build. She thought that if she kept building stuff, even if it went to nowhere, that it would keep them at bay or something like that. So she had these long hallways that would go like stairs going up, and the door you would open it, it would lead to nowhere. Some would go like fall to your doom. And I think that was part of the deal. Like she thought the ghosts would go up and fall and like leave her alone or something. Very bizarre, and very unique, interesting. So I got this movie to see kind of some of the backstory and see if they kind of stuck to that or if they kind of reimagined it a little bit. Inspired by true events at the most haunted house in history. Huh. Most haunted house in history. That's interesting to make that claim. And Helen Mirren is, of course, the widow. If you are a Disney fanatic, especially Disney World, there is a section in the Haunted Mansion. Haunted Mansion is my favorite attraction at Walt Disney World. There is a section dedicated to the Winchester legacy, if you will. Comment down below if you know where that is. If you don't, I'll give you a second for the commenters. It is the staircases with the little footprints that go up and down the stairs that are upside down. That based from the Winchester story, and it was an add-on. Comment down below if you know. I forget when the addition took place. It was what after the ride opened in Magic Kingdom opened in 1971. So maybe early mid 80s, 90s. I need to check that out because it is my favorite section. Somewhat due to the backstory and the unique way, but it's also a cool scene with the little glowing footprints going up and down. If you have never been to Walt Disney World, you need to go, but there's POVs, I'm sure, out there and of this story as well, but thought I would do a fun fact for you. Comment down below if you know what movie that's from. Last, certainly not least, is Till Death. And we were in Till Death, not this movie Till Death. We were on the show Till Death. We did background. We were extras on the show. Brad Garrett starred in this TV series, lasted 2 seasons. I did a video on all our background work. Should be in one of the playlists, or it might be last year, so maybe season 3 of A Day with Caleb channel, or it might be in one of the playlists. You'll have to look through it, but in there I detail every background role or extra role we did. We did TV shows, bunch of TV shows, game shows. We were up for the show Shark, if you remember. Not Bill Maher. Is it Bill Maher? No, not James Caan. comment down below. It lasted one season, but there in the show there were these twins. He's like a not a psychic, a psychiatrist, practically the same. Uh, but he dealt with these twins throughout the season, so it would have been a recurring role. But we were flying back to go to college, unfortunately, and I think I've told this story. That was 2 days before we flew out. They wanted us to do an interview, a casting, uh, where we would film lines and stuff. I don't know if they had lines, but uh, like a casting call interview type deal. And the day we flew out, they called us to do Die Hard with Vengeance. That's the fourth one, where he like hits this tanker and flips, and there's like a helicopter. Uh, that scene, we would have been background in that scene, so that would have been the movie we would have been in as extras. We have never done a movie extra, we've just done TV shows. Our cousin, he was in Max Keeble's Big Move, where they put him in the case and he gets sick. That scene, our cousin's in the background. Then our uncle, he was in a bunch of stuff. I need to do a video on his background roles. That would be cool. He got us into kind of meeting celebrities and kind of going through that. Rest in peace, Uncle Hank. But he was Anthony Hopkins' not stunt double, body double is what I'm looking for. He was Anthony Hopkins' hand when he was flipping through this little dossier for Solus, and he was in the two Thor films, Ragnarok, and what was the one before Ragnarok? I'm completely blanking. Dark World, and then Solus. I think he did something else with Anthony. And he was in a bunch of stuff. I need to do a video on that. He got us on the set of Walking Dead in season 3. We kind of were unpaid workers. We moved stuff around. We ushered zombies to and from set. And then launched the lady director who actually directed a couple episodes in the last season. She was a well-known director of The Walking Dead. She kind of sniffed us out and kind of made us go beyond the barriers after lunch. We blended in pretty good until that point. We kind of helped and looked like we knew what we were doing, didn't know what we were doing, but luckily we had scouted out like trailers and stuff like that. A couple days prior, we went to sneak onto set, but they weren't filming that day. A guy that rented out his house told us when they would be filming again. Woke up 3 in the morning. I think I've told this story, but went back, snuck on set before they put the barriers. Kind of got in the group of workers. They had their Greg Nicotero was in this like glass trailer where you could see through it. He was running through the shots of the day with this lady director. I forget her name. I want to say Margaret, but it's not Margaret. And then the zombies were coming out of the trailer. Then we kind of just meandered around. We helped some guys move some stuff. Then they were doing a scene with Chandler and Michonne where he gets a picture of his mom. Had to go through this horde of walkers in this cramped building. they did several takes. And even back then, this was before I got Chandler's autograph. I thought, man, he like the comics. I didn't know of the. I knew there was a graphic novel, but I didn't get into the graphic novels until I watched the show, which is kind of reverse psychology. It might helped. It helped maybe or hurt. I don't know. I like the show more than the graphic novel, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, Till Death, the horror film, and comment down below. Keep reminding me to do a video of our uncle's background work. That would be a cool one, but that would be months away probably, or maybe a year away, because pulling clips, and I'm on, copyright is such a thing. So I would have to be careful with copyright, but we are rambling. This intrigued me because basically Megan Fox is chained to her husband, who was soon to be her ex. She was going to divorce him, but they kind of have one last night to kind of try and rekindle the magic or the marriage, or kind of put it together, and he takes himself out, still chained to her, and then these two like mob guys come after her, and she has to somehow hide from them while dragging his body around. Very intriguing, interesting premise. You don't normally see that. If people are chained together, it's like a buddy cop comedy like Midnight Run, or it's hard to think off the top of your head. Trading Places, they weren't chained together, but kind of the same deal there. But excited to see this film. I know the premise, but I have not watched the full movie. So that was our horror score. Have you watched this archive? It's kind of a weird kind of, what's the word? Not dark, it's brutal, kind of a brutal crime. There's a lot of like action and stuff that probably not for the faint of heart, and it's not really anything I would really enjoy. But Gary Busey, Jodie Foster, it's a Warner archive, and I'm excited to check this out. To kind of just get the backstory a little bit. I'm interested in finding out history, and I don't like scary stuff usually, but if it has something to do with history, has something to do with Disney parks, and another future video, I need to make a video on why I'm afraid of clowns, and keep reminding me about that, because that is one I do not want to do, but it would be interesting, I think. And are you scared of clowns? Anyway, rambling. Like, subscribe, share with a movie lover. Don't get scared now, because I'm scared now. Keep collecting, and keep the lights on.